Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Kimchi for Breakfast podcast, where we uncover extraordinary stories from ordinary people. Today, I'm honored to have another remarkable guest to present you, a superhero that walks among us. She is a devoting wife, loving mother of 3 kids, each growing up in different schools, different countries, and different continents. Imagine the superpower it takes to manage the bustling dynamic household spread across the globe. The planning, the emotional support, the endless multitasking. Our guest embodies all these qualities and more, proving that superheroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wake up super early, they prepare meals, they pack school lunches, they prepare luggage for business trips, and they coordinate video calls across different time zones. And the most important of all, they keep the warmth of family alive no matter the distance. Her life is a vivid tapestry of love, dedication, and resilience. Join us as we embark in this story where a woman proves that superheroes exist and they are closer than we think. Ciao, Iolanda.
Ciao, Anita. Thank you so much.
How are you?
Very good.
Good?
Yes.
Thank you for joining me and thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you for the invitation and the beautiful presentation.
I know that your life, or I assume that your life it's planned down to the minute. So this podcast probably disturb your planning and you're a scheduler. So I apologize for that.
Everything's good.
Yeah. So let's start. Tell me. I'm super curious. I know that you lived already in different countries.
Yes.
Can you start with your journey or where you have lived when you are from Italy, correct?
Yes, I'm Italian, yes.
You are Italian and
My
your husband is also Italian?
Yes.
And
we
you
are
have
both
3 kids?
Italian. Yeah. And our journey as an expat started long way ago because we started 16 years ago. And actually our first assignment was here in Korea.
Oh, really?
We came here in Seoul and we were a family of 4 back then. And we had 2 daughters of 4 and 2 years old, so really young.
They born in Italy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, both. And I have to say that back then I barely knew where Korea was in the world. So I knew a few things about this country. And moving here was, for us, for sure, a life-changing experience.
It was 20 years ago almost, correct?
Yes.
So they barely speak English in that time.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I cannot imagine the challenge.
No, the people were almost scared to cross our eyes because if we wanted to ask them something, they were running away because they couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
So it was a completely different country than now. Yeah.
After Seoul, you moved back?
Yes. After Seoul, we stayed here for 2.5 years and then we moved back to Italy. But not in our hometown. We are from Torino, both me and my husband. And we moved back to Italy, but in Ferrara. So my son was born there. And we stayed there for 3 years. And then we moved again.
It's like us. All people that I speak with stay 3 years in one place. This is a rule almost. And
Yes.
after 3 years, you get bored and excited to start a new adventure and you move again.
Yes, but for us it was really strange because after these 3 years in Italy, they asked my husband to come back to Korea for the second time. So we moved here in Seoul again, but we stayed only 1 year. So we started jumping from one place to the other really fast.
And after Seoul?
We went to China.
Oh!
We went to China for
Which city?
Shanghai.
Oh, it's amazing. I don't know.
Yes.
In that time, I don't know, but I just came from one long weekend in Shanghai and I love that city.
Yes, it's really a vibrant city. There's a lot of things to do. But for us, it was just a glimpse of China because we stayed 1 year only. I'm sure we would have been able to discover much more things if we stayed longer. Yeah.
And after China?
And after China, we moved to the US. We moved to Detroit area.
This could be my next move, also Detroit.
Oh,
How long you have been in Detroit?
2 years. 2
Okay.
years. And then we had the chance to come back here for the third time. So it seems almost incredible. We came here for the third time, and here we are. I mean, it's 5 years now. So total, it's 9 years that we are been living here in Korea.
And your kids, they attend always international school?
Yes.
Even in US?
No.
In US it was a public school?
Public school, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
And what is
It
your...
was different. I mean,
It's different.
yes.
But
it's
in
different.
Detroit, they say that they have the best schools from US, public schools.
Yes, we had the recommendation to live in Bloomfield Hills because you can attend the public school related to the area where you live in.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to live in Bloomfield Hills because they said that they had the best school in the area.
Yeah.
It's a completely different approach, I have to say, in comparison to the international school, especially here in Asia.
In our case, for example, our daughter, she attended also international school in Portugal. And in that moment, she was a French speaker because we have been in France. So she attended public French school because there was no international school, no English school, nothing. So she was French speaker and need to move for English speaker from one year to another. So
Yeah, it's not
luckily she
easy.
was 3 or 4, and it happens because this is the magic of kids, that they can
Yes.
do wherever they want, or that they want, they don't want, but they can do it anyway.
Yeah.
What I really like, the international schools compared with the public schools, at least from my experience in Portugal, is the approach.
Yeah.
It's not just the language, because of course in America, the public school will be in English, like in Australia, for example,
Yeah.
but for sure the approach is not the same.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
the methodology is not the same.
Yes.
So,
See, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so your daughter and your son, they are both in Seoul, but attending different schools.
Yes.
And you have another daughter in other continent, another
Yes.
country. Where is?
She is in the Netherlands. She's attending university in Amsterdam. Now she's finishing her bachelor, so it's 3 years that she's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage? When do you meet?
We all meet in person. We try to do it as much as possible, of course, but we meet in Christmas time when we reunite in Italy with our family too, and during summer. We try to see each other also once more during the year, but it's difficult because the kids have different, for example, spring break for our kids here are some time of the year, and in university they do not have the same stop. So she's trying to do her best. I mean, we try as much as we can, as hard as we can, to see each other, and we see each other through FaceTime or WhatsApp. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, technology
because,
nowadays is
oh
awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
What is she studying?
Psychology.
Oh. How is the relationship between your 3 kids?
I have to say that they have really nice and tight relationship. They are really close to each other, and I think also because of the expat experience. I think I have the impression, at least for us, our experience is that moving from one place to the other so often makes you, yes, know a lot of people, but in the end, the family, it's really, really strong. The relationship between the family members become really tight because they need to have somebody always there for them, and they know that they can talk. For example, I find really comforting that my daughter, if she has some issues, she knows that she can talk with me always, but she reached for her sister because she wanted to talk to her. I mean, for the girls, it's easier because they are 2.5 years apart. And my son is 5 years younger than my second daughter. So they have a different relation. But in the end, they are really close to each other. They look for each other, and they always ask for their opinion from the most silly things. Just I want to buy something. What do you think it's best, this dress or this dress? What do you want me to buy? And they ask for their opinion. Also for more important things. But in the end, I have to say that most of the time, this is just off topic, when we talk to the teachers about our kids, the thing that they say that you can feel that they live in a really serene and calm environment. And I really appreciate this because they live in a place where love and peace, it's always there. So having a smile is also important because you give them serenity, and it's good, I think.
Yeah. So living in a new country often presents unique challenge. You lived in Italy, even sometimes going back to our countries. It's also a challenge because you also need to adjust. You always need to, it's another exercise. So you live in 4 different countries, but actually Seoul changed for sure from the first to the second and third time. It's not the same country, it's not the same city.
Exactly.
More China, more US, that it's totally a part of this reality. Which country was the challenge you the most as family? Not just you, Iolanda, but as family. Because the kids' age also influenced this. When you arrived there, they were in little, after you have in China and US, and now they are teenagers.
So it's difficult to answer as a family. For me, for sure, the most challenging was the US. I am a city girl. I really love a city like Seoul, like Shanghai. And I was coming from these kind of cities. They're huge with a lot of possibilities, museums, everything. You can find everything. And living there for me was a bit tight. I love when there are trees and I don't know, when you can go out on a weekend. You say, okay, I want to go out for a walk, but be surrounded by trees and deers for me was too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy life. It's not difficult in terms of what do you want to do, how you can do the things, because it's easy. You can find everything. Maybe you can find, from the Italian point of view, you can also find more ingredients if you want to cook something Italian than here in Asia. But the style, the lifestyle is different, and I didn't like this. I mean, I come from Europe, where cities, and you can walk and stroll across the cities. You can look at the stores, and you can walk in the city center. You can see people, and there we were living in the suburbs. So it's nice, but in the end, you can see that all the people during the weekends, they just take care of their garage and
go to the park. They do the grass.
So it was not the life for me.
Yes,
because
of course.
It's not something equal for everybody.
Here in Korea, when you arrived, what shocked you the most? The first time that you came here, 20 years ago.
Yes. So the thing that shocked me the most, it's a silly thing, is the amount of people at the crossroad waiting, standing diligently to cross the street. The amount, because I was coming from Turin. It's not really small city, it's almost 1 million people. But when you need to cross the street, you're standing at the crossroad with 2-3 people with you. Here you can find hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds waiting and then crossing the street really diligently. And this was the thing that shocked me the most.
And in Shanghai?
Same thing. Even more than here. But I think a nice thing that I really appreciated here was strange. 16 years ago, as I told you, Chiara and Alessia, they were 4 and 2. And when we were going out in the weekends, we were coming back home with small gifts given by strangers. Because they looked at the girl and they were finding in their purse if they had something to give them. So headbands, small jewelry, umbrella, some gifts to give them. I think they wanted to take picture with them because back then there weren't so many foreign people here, and they were blonde, small, cute. So they wanted to take picture to them and with them, and they were giving small things. Now there are many friends. I cannot see, I cannot feel the same, but I have to say that one thing that I really appreciate of Korea, really, is the respect that they have for the common things or for the other things. I always, I am amazed that you can keep your spot at the restaurant or a cafe, even at the gym, in the school gym. You put your phone on the bench and nobody touches it.
Yeah.
I mean, in Italy, it wouldn't be possible at all.
It's like impossible.
So this is something that I really appreciate and I really love.
Yeah.
I think in China we lived just too little to really appreciate all the differences. I mean, we try to travel a little bit, but China is huge, so it would have been much nicer to stay longer to experience different things. In the end, I think you need, when you move to another country, a different country, you need a few months to settle down, to understand how everything works. And for me, the first months are always trying to understand if the kids are really well settled in their school, in their routine. So I really focus on them. So I don't know if I could have taken something from China.
From a communist country with a relationship with the rest of the world like it is in the moment, I was expecting a totally different country, and I found a super consumist country. You can see the American brands everywhere, so you cannot really see the actual relationship between two countries in the street because you expect something different. And I was really amazed with this city, so beautiful and well planned. I was really amazed. But anyway, changing completely the topic. I know that among many extraordinary things that you have done so far, you had time to write a book. Not in Italian, not in English, in Korean. The magnificent book, and I'm really impressed. Not just because of the Korean, but because I barely understand. I just understand the title of the recipes, but the pictures are amazing. The quality of the pictures are amazing. I found super elegant. A book super elegant. How do you manage? No, first of all, where did you find the idea, the inspiration? Tell me everything about this story. This for me, it's amazing.
No, thank you. I mean, the story of this book is quite interesting because I always had the passion of cooking and baking since I was really young. When I moved back to Italy from Korea the first time in 2012, I was pregnant with my third child, with my son, and I was in a completely new environment. I wanted to do something different. So I started a food blog. I started with a food blog and I started cooking and baking and taking pictures. And back then I also started writing for a magazine where I had to provide recipes and pictures of my recipes. So this was of course, a good school for me because I had to learn how to do food photography because it's not like taking a picture of a person, it's a completely different style. So I had to practice a lot and I enjoyed writing for this magazine. Then the life brought us again here in Korea. And when I arrived here in Seoul, I already knew almost everything about Seoul because we traveled, also Korea, because we traveled everywhere. I was really lucky because walking into a bookstore, I found a flyer that was advertising if you wanted to become a home chef, wanting to host a social dinner at your own house. So I said, oh, this is the perfect fit for me. I love cooking. I like to interact with people. It's also something nice to try to have connection with Koreans because, at least for me, it is not easy to try to have connection with the Korean people. It's easier to stay in this bubble with the international stage together, but connect with the Koreans, it's not easy. So I applied and they said, okay, you can start doing this job. And the organizer was a startup actually, and I started hosting this social dinner once a month. I had to decide the menu, upload on the platform, and then the Koreans could decide, okay, I want to eat Italian, and they even didn't know each other. So we were gathering around the table. We could eat these Italian dishes and also talk about the food, Italian food culture. So the experience was really nice. And I had in my mind this project, maybe writing a book, why not? The Koreans are always really eager to understand, to know something about Italy. And I said, maybe there's a spot for me. And I talked to the owner of the startup. And he said, oh, it's a good project, we can do it together. So he found the editor for me. And we had this deal that I had translated my recipe from Italian to English, and then they translated from English to Korean.
Wow.
So in the end, it was this nice.
It's really nice.
Work with them. So.
And what about the recipes? Where or from whom you learn how to cook?
Oh,
because this is important. The origin and are your kids in
yes.
the pictures?
Yes.
This is your boy from the color. The hair color is your boy.
Yes, yes. Oh, I'm really proud of this book because it is not only, as you said, a recipe book, but also a photographic book.
Yeah, it's
so
super
I
beautiful.
Could join my passions together. The cooking, the baking, and also the photography.
What I really like, because I don't understand recipes and I cannot taste. If I could, it will be a different story. But I already choose which will be my first recipe. It actually will be this one.
Oh,
because we have
a classic one.
We have something similar in Portugal, and I miss a lot because my grandmother used to do it, and my mom never do it. And this is something that I really like. And I will try this one. So from whom you learn?
My mom.
Really?
My mother, she is an amazing cook. She has been amazing. For me, was like a magician. Because even if she was working, she could come home and in 10 minutes prepare something delicious, tasty to eat, starting from scratch. Not buying pre-made food. So I was always amazed because she was great.
And it's super difficult to do it. And you also need to be creative because this is where I'm struggling. When even with my family, sometimes I have the feeling that we are eating the same thing, the same. To be creative, to do things in a different way, it's tough. It's not. Some people have this genius, this.
Yes, I have to say that here, for me, the problem is
ingredients.
The ingredients.
Even the olive oil, it has a different taste. Even if it's coming from Spain or Italy, it's my palate that is different. I don't know, but
the funny thing now is that when we go back to Italy, it's say, okay, I'm going to a trip to the supermarket, because for me, just looking at all the ingredients is something.
So you collect these recipes from your mom?
Yes, from my mom, from friends. My mom has, I don't know, I think she has thousands of recipes in her house. She has books, she has handwritten notes, and I remember when I was young, sitting in the kitchen, just looking at her, trying to grab all the secrets. I think I learned just looking at her. And I have a book that I started a notebook that I started when I was, I think, 12, 13 years old. I started writing my own recipes just because I loved baking already back then. So I was preparing these cakes to bring to my friends, and I started writing down the recipes in the
amazing
notebook.
I don't have this, but it's super frustrating for me because my grandma, a maternal grandma, she used to live very close to us, and every time that she baked a cake, I was there. I watched thousands of times. I don't know if it's the woven, if it's the appliance count, I don't know what's happened, but I saw she did it in front of me thousands of times. I repeat it with the same amount. It's not the same amount. I think that one of my problems is that I cut in the sugar because usually these recipes has like 300 grams of sugar, and for me it's insane.
No, it's not possible.
But probably if I put everything, maybe the result, but it's stronger than me. I cannot put all this amount of sugar in the recipes. And in the end, you look to the cake and say,
what is this?
Where is the flour? What's happened? It's like I put something like this in the oven and it comes like, I don't know, it's not growing. I said, no, so